I can't even. I don't even have words. I literally have no words.
But right now, this entire contract proves, and the contracts that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin have signed from day one have proved they're out of touch with what reality is with the Vancouver Canucks. We are a bottom 10 team that are acting like we're a top 5 team. What I don't like,
you can't. You literally can't trade everyone. That's such a stupid concept. That
to me,
so many fans are like, "Oh, we have to trade everybody, trade the coach,
So 3 minutes ago, you rewind. Maybe this team's not good enough. How do you fix this team then if you're going to keep re-signing these core players?
Well, there never is. You and I have discussed this so many times. The CFL is their own worst enemy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the March 16th version of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jake Hughes. Across from me, laughing like a crazy person, the old man, Kevin Hughes. How the hell are you doing today?
I am doing just dandy today. I'm tired, but I'm doing dandy.
Why are you so tired?
Because I've been doing too much. I need to rest. I need a nap.
Speaking of doing too much,
I'm kind of grumpy.
Well, good. Then we can get that grumpiness into content. But first, yesterday you were on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I was. It was kind of a shock, to be honest. I had just planned to go meet Rod for breakfast at the Grey Eagle Casino and Hotel and Casino. Did you know there's a restaurant over by the hotel?
Yes.
There?
Yes, I did.
It's called Little Chief. I've never been there, and that's where we went. Anyways, I just thought it was weird that I had been going to this damn casino for 20 plus years.
And this is the first time you noticed it.
It's like, holy crap. Anyway, so we're having breakfast, and Rod has a meeting to go to on his phone with his crew. And he says, "Oh, don't worry, it's only going to be 5 minutes, less than." During the meeting, he says, "Oh, and by the way, I'm bringing Kevin on during overtime," which is what he calls his last 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, of his show. And I was like, "You're doing what?" I wasn't prepared. I had to get up really effing early. I had to drive from Airdrie all the way to Southwest Calgary. I didn't shave.
It was the real version of you, not this polished version people get on the podcast.
Yeah, the polished version. That's it. This is
a hat and a hoodie.
So it was fun. It was a good time. I felt really awkward when I was doing it. With Rod's setup, it's very similar to for people older than Jake. It's very similar setup to the Johnny Carson show, where you got Rod at a desk and then he's got a couch and you're up on the stage at the Grey Eagle. If you've ever been at the Grey Eagle, the stage is above the bar, but open to the whole casino. And so you're sitting this way. Well, Rod's sitting over here. So the camera's here and he's there. And I kept going like this, because I didn't know where the hell else. I watched the video afterwards, and I was like, "Oh my god, I looked like I was so awkward." It was.
Well, now you know for next time.
It was.
You know for next time. Just look right at the camera. It doesn't matter if
at the camera.
Stare right at the camera.
Stare at the camera.
And again, if you're not watching the YouTube or us live on Facebook and everything with the video, you're missing out on at least a third of the experience. At least a third. But because you had messaged me right as the Rod Pedersen Show was starting.
Yes, to tell you I was going to be on the air.
You were going to be on the air. I didn't know. You didn't tell me when in the original message. I was like, I don't know when he's going to be on.
Oh,
I'll just watch the whole damn show.
Oh, there you go.
Which I always try to, anyways, as he is a friend of the show, a friend of the family.
Yes, he's good. no matter what they say about him, all those people,
All
he's
them
a pretty,
people.
good guy. He's him and I have connected over. I mean, we haven't even known each other a year yet. It's like
He
8
meant
months, 9 months.
he mentioned that on your segment there, and it kind of blew my
Yes,
mind because it feels like
it was
it's been
July
so long.
2nd. July 2nd of last year, because I was helping my buddy Ken do the spiritual expo out in Canmore.
You
And
texted me that day.
so many things had to have happened for him and I to meet that it wasn't just coincidence. And this is a sports show, as Rod says. This isn't Cavelli channeling show. But so many things had to come together for us to meet. And I remember coming home, and I remember I either texted you, I think I called you because I was driving.
I think you called me, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I just met this guy. He's like, was the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders for 23 years. We've seen him on TV many times being interviewed. And we very quickly became really good friends. It's very cool.
So watching the show,
back to sports.
I'm going to play a clip here. I haven't gotten permission from Rod Pedersen or the team to do this, but I'm going to play the clip anyways. And well, if they give me shit, they give me shit.
We kind of did.
Yeah, I guess we kind of did. But here, it's a 15-second clip. I'm going to play it, and then we're going to come back for not just reactions, but to discuss this here. Let's hope the audio plays.
You didn't put when you shared screen. You didn't share system audio.
System audio. There we go.
This town than I am, but I'd heard there's been 2 offers from Houston businessmen to buy the Calgary Flames.
Haven't heard. I'm not saying it.
This was just this week at the Saddle Dome. I heard it. I was at the Senators game the other day, but this on the.
So, I'd stop it because it's just going to repeat itself over and over again. At the Saddle Dome, we know Rod is a very connected individual. And you brought my attention to the second part, but let's just start with this. Rod's a very connected individual when it comes to insiders and just...
He knows people, that's for sure.
He's connected to people.
He knows people.
When he says something, it usually has some weight to it.
Well, I mean, was there 2 offers for different outlets out of Houston to buy the Flames? I believe there would have been. He wouldn't have heard it if there wasn't. Like that's not
Rod's game. He's not here and he didn't make that a headline anywhere.
He would never ever say it on air if it wasn't from somebody that he could say was reliable, I'll say.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard lots of other rumors that he hasn't said on air that he's talked to me about.
I know one that you're talking about specifically.
But he wasn't that confident.
Yeah.
So, but when he said it on air, and even that video doesn't really do justice to Mark. What's his name? Mark Steven. Mark Stevens. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Mark. It doesn't do justice to his name or justice to how he reacted, because his reaction, his eyes, the way I was sitting, I was at that point, I was sitting down in front of the bar. I wasn't drinking. It was in the morning. And when you're looking up at him, his eyes, like the look in his eyes was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell?
And to me, it wasn't what the hell are you talking about? It was how the hell do you know that sort of look? Because
that was more, and that's what I texted you was. Yeah. Let's face it. Let's face reality here in Calgary. I'm just sorry. Before we get into this, I just want to preface: we are in Calgary, or Calgary area.
Yes. We get a lot of this news because we're in the area.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Because we're broadcasting to a lot of people in Vancouver, around BC. And I know across the nation as well. We have viewers from all over. I gotta give a shout out to Mr. Jeff McCleary. He says, "Where's my microphone button? Am I your only fan, Jeff? We have tons of fans. Are you kidding me? We get like at least."
I've got like 2 fans in my corner right here, so when it gets really hot,
we get at least 20 plus views a week. Holy 20! Yeah, 18 of them might be Jake and I.
Hey, but that leaves 2 views that aren't us.
There you go. Jeff, I would never ever give you a live microphone. Remember, I worked for you. Jeff had or still does have a furniture store in Kelowna. So if you're in Kelowna and you need some furniture, Jeff McCleary's the guy to go, especially beds. He's the bed guy. Okay, back to sports now.
Back to sports.
So let's face facts in Calgary. They need a new arena.
Yeah.
You've been to the Vancouver arena.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yep.
What were you going to call it?
Rogers Arena or Rogers Place? I always get Rogers Arena. I always get confused.
I still call it the garage.
We should go back to calling it the garage.
Anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful arena. I've been there many times, sat in the restaurant watching games in the seats. There's not a bad seat in the house. The Saddle Dome was state of the art.
When it opened in 1983.
Thank you.
10 years before I was born. And you know what? I will give them this. They did renovations in 1994 when I was 1 year old.
So the key there is the Flames need a new arena. There's no doubt about it. Nobody's saying they don't. If the city and the Alberta government can't put a deal together, are the Flames going to up and leave? Hell yes. I believe that with all my being because they can't run a team out of this arena. They can't. No. It's not working.
Well,
go ahead.
Bettman has given, I'm not a Bettman fan.
Really?
I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. But he came here to do something and got stuck in an elevator. His first comments after getting off of the elevator was that Calgary will not host any official events, NHL official events, until they get a new arena. It's not suitable.
And when asked about Houston and Atlanta, he didn't say no, they're not going to get teams. The only thing he said, and he's a very smart man. You got to remember, this is a brilliant businessman. He said, "We are not in an expansion mode right now."
Yeah, I'm looking up
what does it read? You don't even have to read between the lines with that.
No. So right now, places like Atlanta, like Houston, like Quebec City have received expansion interest. He added, but we're not in expansion mode right now, and it's not really something, at least right now, that's anywhere close to front burner for us.
Thank you.
So, and I want to get that full quote because it's very specific. As an expansion.
They're not expanding. They don't want more teams. They want to move teams that aren't working.
I don't think they want to move teams. I think they're going to need to move teams. So you've got Arizona, which next month, I believe, May 15th, May 16th.
Middle of May it was funny because Mark Stevens, Rod had Peter Marr on today, and he
Hall of Fame voice of the Calgary Flames.
Hall of Fame. Put it in the win column. I can't even do it justice. He had said that because he was down there, he goes down to Arizona for the winter, and he had said that it was going to be middle of May that this vote.
Yeah.
The city has approved it, but now it goes to the citizens of Phoenix, and I don't think it's going to pass.
I can't see it because there's not enough fan interest.
It's an NFL city.
No, don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful city. I've been there twice in 2 years. It's a beautiful city. Peter Marr was talking again on the Rod Pedersen Show about how they're concerned about hockey rights and views because a lot of Canadians do.
That was the only time I've ever heard anybody with an ounce of intelligence in the NHL give a reason why Arizona is still in Arizona.
Why?
The Coyotes are still in Arizona. And it was like, because there's so many Canadians that go to Phoenix area during the winter, their viewing is better than most cities. It's the highest rated viewings.
Third highest.
In
highest
all
in
of America.
States. Which, like, you got to put that in perspective. I mean, there's huge market teams like Philly. You've got Pittsburgh, New York. Those are high market teams.
Yes.
Phoenix is beating them. Arizona is beating them because when we talk Phoenix, it's
Phoenix
Arizona.
Area. They're just like Vancouver is BC.
No, it's even more.
The viewership for Vancouver, they look at BC as a whole.
Correct,
right?
But when I'm more meaning like when people say Vancouver, they mean Burnaby, Richmond,
the greater Vancouver area.
Yeah,
but
Phoenix
when the NHL is looking at viewership, they're looking at all of BC because there's only the one team. Here in Alberta, it's southern Alberta and northern Alberta.
Yeah, they separate it just in Red Deer.
Yeah, exactly. And in Saskatchewan, they don't even look at. Kill me sometimes.
But yeah, so obviously those three names are being brought up for a reason. And it's not like Bettman poured fuel on it or gas poured water on it.
No.
Nor did he put gas on it and said by saying anything. He literally said, hey, places are interested. Of course they are. Look at the price that the Ottawa Senators is going to be sold for.
What was that number?
There's no official number yet, but I believe today I was listening, and I believe it's like $800 million is a number that pops in my mind, but I don't know
really?
if that's.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to it. And Ottawa's going to get a new arena. Wow. Go figure. We can't have anything nice.
Sorry, $750 million is the suggested price.
We can't have anything nice in Alberta. Well, in Calgary, Edmonton has a nice arena.
Yep.
Look at Edmonton's football arena, or football stadium.
What? Yeah, it's terrible.
Edmonton's?
Commonwealth?
We were there. It was freaking amazing compared to
comparing a pile of garbage to a landfill. Yeah, the pile of garbage is going to look all right. Go to Vancouver. Go to Vancouver.
Of course,
go to
yes.
Go to Toronto.
Go to Winnipeg. Toronto doesn't have a nice stadium.
BMO Field?
Do they?
It's like brand new.
Okay. Winnipeg has a great stadium.
Winnipeg has a great stadium. My light over here is blinking at me and it's distracting me, so I'm just turning it off. I'm going to deal with having a shadow for the rest of the day.
It's haunted, Jake. It's haunted. But you're right. I was comparing it to the horrible state of McMahon Stadium. They just refuse to do anything here for sports. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
They're making money. It's not like they're not making money.
Come on. They're making tons of money. You look at any Flames game and they're not doing good. Well, and it's damn near sold out every game.
Not just that, but they have in one arena, they have that was built in 1983, renovated in 1994, and haven't done anything since. They have the Calgary Flames in the NHL. They have the Calgary Wranglers in the AHL. They've got the WHL Calgary Hitmen, and they've got the NLL. They have the Calgary Roughnecks.
Oh, you got them all. Good for you.
4 teams in one arena.
Yeah.
And you can't find money to do any renovations?
All owned by the same people?
All owned by Calgary Sports and Entertainment.
I think so. I'm not. Do you know that?
That is a fact that I know.
Okay, there you go.
Because the only reason I know that for a fact is because when I was talking when we got that suite a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, I had all the options from one guy. It's all the same company.
Okay. It's I don't get it. I don't understand it. Calgary's had a good football team. I mean, sorry. Yeah, they've had a good football team too. They've had a great hockey team for many years. They haven't won much, but they still have a great team.
Yeah.
their fan base is like diehard. I mean, you talk to anybody in the Calgary area, they want to talk about the Flames.
Yeah.
They find out I'm a Canuck fan, and it's on. It's on. Like, it's like, I don't understand how this hasn't happened 10 years ago.
No,
it doesn't make sense. When you look up the road 3 hours, you've got Edmonton. I haven't been there yet. I've seen pictures, many. A beautiful arena, brand new, just a couple of years.
Now,
nothing down here.
Now, in defense of Calgary, did Edmonton get provincial money to build that arena?
Oh, of course they did. Provincial money, city money, and it was like a three-way partnership between the team, which is the city and the provincial government,
province.
Yeah,
which for those down in the state, that's your state government for Canada. Yeah, provinces, not states.
The Calgary team has been our new premier. I'm not going to go into it. Has said that they're willing to put money in because they know how good. If you have a good arena, guess what? It's not going to only be for those 4 teams Jake just mentioned.
Nope.
Name one big concert that has come here. They go to that. We have to go up to Edmonton to watch anything.
So
wrestling's coming to Calgary.
Literally what I was going to say. So we're huge AEW, WWE, huge pro wrestling fans. Yes. AEW is doing a Canadian tour, and the Wednesday night they're up in Edmonton for the live show and the taping of their Friday show.
Yeah. And what do we get?
They're here Saturday for, I think they're running 20 house shows this year, and we get one of them.
And it's a house show. If you don't understand that, we're not going to go into why it's a house show, but it's not the same.
Sorry. A house show is, there's no live cameras. It's not recorded.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
the storylines.
Yeah. Anything like that. Sorry.
So guess what? Jake and I are going to go up to Edmonton.
So I want to look this up. So value of teams have gone insane.
Yeah.
In 2003, these
20 years ago.
Eugene Melnyk.
Yep.
The bought Ottawa Senators for $92 million.
And he's selling it for $750 million.
Unfortunately, Eugene Melnyk is no longer with us.
Yeah, his estate.
His estate is selling it, and the rough price is anywhere between $650 and $750 million.
In 20 years.
20 years. 2 years after the Ottawa Senators were purchased, 2005, one Francesco Aquilini purchased the Vancouver Canucks for $207 million.
Holy. I mean, different markets obviously are going to demand different.
But if the Ottawa Senators can get $750 million.
Can you imagine what the Canucks could be worth?
When the sale goes through, and in the untimely passing of Luigi, I said the untimely passing. He's
Jake.
Sick. No. I'm not Francesco. His dad, the head of the family, who's already really sick and like.
You don't say that about somebody.
No. I'm saying.
When he does pass,
does the Aquilinis look at that price point that the Ottawa Senators got and say, well, shit.
Yeah.
$1 billion, $1.5 billion. What could you get for a team?
Yeah, exactly. It's
a
lot of money. It's a lot of money. But all that, we went off on a crazy tangent,
it happens.
Will the Flames leave if they don't get an arena? Jake, what's your opinion?
Yes, but I'm putting the caveat on this is that they're going to announce arena next year.
I can't see him not announcing an arena. The city would. There would be riots in the streets. And I'm being totally honest. Like, the citizens of this town will lose their freaking marbles because guess what? They got nothing else. They become the Saskatchewans of Alberta.
Because if you think about it, the AHL team is probably going to go to Houston.
Yeah.
The NLL team, I don't know if there's a Houston branch, but that will probably not. That will
But
probably
let's say
stay.
they stay there. That's what
And
Saskatchewan has.
the
They have all
WHL,
kinds of hockey. They just don't
NL
have NHL.
They got the lacrosse, they got WHL,
Yeah.
and they've got the CFL. You're now Saskatchewan.
This town would lose it. They
The
would
third
go
biggest, the third biggest city in Calgary or in Canada is Calgary. And you might not have a hockey team. I've done research on this. By population, Calgary
Is it? Okay.
is the third largest. Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna trust you on this one. If somebody's listening and they can Google, so I don't have to,
Please do. Please Google
on that
this.
one?
Please check me on that.
Check them on that one.
Um,
Because a lot of times Jake will just blab and say something, and I'll be like,
no, this I know because I've looked this up many times because I've gotten into arguments with people.
there you go. Yeah, I just can't see it. I just can't see it not staying here. In
2 years, if there's no, I say 2 years. I don't know why that's the number. Like by 2025, if there's not an announcement of a new city, of a new arena.
Yeah, no, the announcement's going to be in 2023. They're making that announcement. I would say it's going to probably be made before May.
I think just after May.
I think just before May. Think about this for a second.
No, that's why I'm saying I think it's going to be a platform that's a political party runs on.
If they can secure, let's not get political because that's going to take me way down another road that's going to be an hour long.
That's me and you. That's a conversation
afterwards. Battleground. Let's put it that way. Calgary is the battleground. They need to win Calgary. What a better way to do it than awarding a stadium just before the election.
It's fair. Swapping gears here. Moving on. We have the HughesSports.ca.
HughesSports.ca.
We keep talking about big things happening behind the scenes. They're still happening. Things are in motion.
It's pretty exciting, actually. When Jake first approached me with what was going on, I was like,
"Well,
what?"
I'm thinking of two things.
Oh,
the thing you're talking about.
Oh, okay, and the other thing,
yeah,
and the other thing.
We are being cryptic intentionally. You will find out all in due time.
Well, they can find out the one thing, can't they? That we're going to do it, or no? Because we might not be able to do it. Is that what you're saying?
We need to test it. We need to test it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Testing it needs to happen.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention. Read between the lines.
But yeah, check out HughesSports.ca. You'll get all sorts of updates. This week, I just posted an article comparing Bure, Pedersen, and Kuzmenko in their rookie seasons and beyond, and the impact.
Can I ask you a question about that? You had an infographic that went along with it, and I meant to actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to just kind of blindside you with this, but because I meant to actually text you.
Yes.
On it, you got something about power play points.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And then you got a percentage
of their points that are power play points.
Oh, it didn't register in my old man head.
So looking at it, I'm looking at it right now. That's how I know that.
Okay.
Elias Pettersson has the highest, which is 48%, which is
48% of his goals are
of his
power
points.
play goals. Of his
points were power play points. Okay. In his rookie season. Pavel Bure was 38%. Kuzmenko, 43%. He's on pace in a rookie season. Although he's older, he's 27. He can't win the Calder. He's still a rookie in the NHL. And it was a shot on the dark that he'd be as good as he is. He's on pace for, I believe, 40 plus goals.
Here we go with this stats, your nerdy stats thing again. Does it really does that say how great a player is that he has that many
in a rookie season?
Power play points, that percentage. I mean, you could only score 3 goals. 2 of them are power play.
What?
You know what I'm saying? So that the percentage
you can only score 3 goals. And
if
2
you
of them
only
are power
scored
play?
3 goals and 2 of them were on the power play,
yes,
your percentage is going to be really high.
Well, correct. It would be 66%.
Looks really good. So that stat doesn't, what I'm trying to get across is that stat doesn't resonate with the old man.
So it's the impact not just on power play, but the impact on 5-on-5. Pavel Bure was in his rookie season, and I believe throughout his entire career, was a 5-on-5 megastar. Put him on the power play where I don't know about what it was like in the early to late 90s for power play, but it's a lot of structured setup. Pavel Bure's speed wasn't structured setup. His strength was being able to break away from someone as if they were standing still.
Oh, yeah. He would be able to go from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat, literally.
Pedersen, who scored 48%, that's pretty balanced. He's not just a one specialist.
Oh, I see what you're getting at now. Okay.
If he was 80%, it's like, okay, yeah, he scored a lot of goals or points or got a lot of points, but how many of them are on the power play where the team has the advantage?
Oh, I get. So you're saying the lower the percentage points, the better it would be.
The closer to 50, in my opinion, because you want to be. You're not just a power play player. You're not just a 5-on-5. Okay. You can do it both. That's the way I read that.
Again, it's one of those. I think the only stat that really matters is plus minus and wins and losses. Remember? That's our graphic. Where's our graphic? I don't see our graphic on the screen. Where's our logo? Our logo says...
I'm finding it. Found it. Right there. Right above
it. There. Our logo, you have all this freaking cool math, and I'm like, win, tie, loss. That's the only thing that matters.
Well, speaking of that, as we, flow into it, 5 straight wins for the Canucks. We're 7-2-1 in the last 10 games, and when we wanted them to lose the most, they just can't. And the worst part is they're fun games. There's been one game in the last 5 that I watched where I was just like, this is boring, and it's Anaheim. And I don't think that has anything to do with the Canucks. I think that's Anaheim being a very boring team.
Yeah. Who did they play the last game? Who were they playing?
My brain is
they were like a top-notch team.
Stars. The Stars.
Stars. They're leading the West, aren't they? I think
they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're leading the Central. No, they're second in the West.
Second in the West. I don't know if it's a case of when teams are coming in, they're taking us lightly, and we're just dominant. Like literally, I watched that game from the halfway through the second on, and I don't want to say Canucks dominated them, but holy crap, they were playing well. And it was funny because Jake and I text lots during a hockey game when we're both watching it. And you had said something about this team plays really, really well when there's no pressure on them.
Yes, it's actually an entire thesis that I'm working on for an article. I'm actually reaching out to people. But
I actually mentioned that to Rod. Sorry, I'm going to finish my train of thought before I forget. I mentioned that to Rod over when we were having our breakfast before the show the other day. And he looked at me with that, wow, that would make a lot of sense because let's face it. I mean, I'd love to say if they go 21-0 to finish off the season, can they make the playoffs? Yeah, I don't think so. So, I mean, it's 0 point some odd %. It's very low. Almost impossible. They almost are eliminated. Anyway, they have no pressure. They're probably not going to get Bedard. They're going to finish middle of the pack. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to finish last.
And the moves the GM has made have committed to this core, committed to this team.
Yes,
with improvements, but they've committed to win now.
I was listening to the broadcast, and you know me, I don't pay attention to who they are during the intermission. I'm actually paying more attention to what they're saying, especially now that we're doing this podcast. And there was 3 guys on the panel. 2 of them were saying that this is just a coach's bump, blah, blah, blah. We've seen it before. You're not fooling us this time. And then the third guy, who I know you would know if I said his name, and I can't think of it, He was like, no, guys, you guys are wrong. Like, literally, he was like, you guys are wrong. And they both kind of went, and he goes, watch them play. This isn't a coach's bump. This is a change of style on how they're playing. And I was like, oh. So I watched the next period. He had also said, remember back in December when they were making mistakes, and one mistake would lead to 2 mistakes, would lead to 5 mistakes, would lead to 10 mistakes, and they were all of a sudden they were behind 7-0 when they were up 2-0 to begin with. It's a Canucks way. They actually lose goals. You know what I mean. I watched that third period. Did they make mistakes? Yes, but guess what? The player behind didn't make the mistake that they were in December. There literally seemed to be a new system where it's fitting these types of players. I could be wrong.
Now, how much of that is addition by subtraction? Who hasn't been playing? Who's been out?
Yeah.
OEL. Myers has been in, but not.
He's been playing 20 minutes. He played 20 minutes that game. I remember because I was like, did he really? Holy crap.
I really wish he wouldn't. But he's
playing disciplined hockey. He's not the chaos giraffe that, because you go back when Boudreau was a coach, he didn't have a structure. He said it. He says, I just let the guys go out and play hockey.
No, that's not true.
Free-flowing hockey. That's what he said.
That's what he said when he got to the team halfway through the season, trying to figure out how to undo the mess that he inherited.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting Boudreau down whatsoever.
It's a common narrative that people are just like, oh, he just lets them go play. No, he doesn't. You don't tell me that he's yelling at them and being like, this is what you should be doing. But I don't think it was as structured.
I don't think it was as structured as what they're doing now. Who's the coach now? Sorry, my brain is...
Rick Tocchet.
Tocchet has a very distinct structure he demands, just like Sutter in Calgary.
And how's that working out?
Yeah, exactly. It's a distinct structure, and it seems to be working. We've won 5 in a row, Jake. Not against sloppy teams.
Against one good team and a bunch of sloppy teams. You want me to pull up the schedule?
I'm going to call you on this one. Wasn't Toronto in there in the last 10 games? Yeah, they were.
So the Stars, good team. Senators. Ducks. Predators. Maple Leafs, good team.
Oh, yeah.
And then we lost to the Wild. We, in overtime, won against the Stars again. Good team. We got destroyed by the Bruins, who played, and I will say this because I watched this game, who played at half speed.
That team, I'm going to be, you're going to curse me. That Boston Bruins team this year is something else.
They are what we should have been.
They're literally, I just dread saying this. They're literally one of the best teams I've seen play hockey in
the stats,
decades.
The stats say they are the best team in the NHL ever.
Yeah.
Period. The fastest team to 100 points. The fastest team to 50 wins.
It's insane.
Period. They clinched a playoff spot the first 2 weeks of March.
It's insane. It really is.
You know what's even more insane is that they went on a couple of losses. They lost a couple games. And by lost a couple, I literally mean I think they lost 2 games.
In a row?
Against the Red Wings and the Blackhawks.
And people lost it?
They lost it. They were like, this is it. This is what we're going to get in the playoffs. Might as well just sell the whole team.
What have they lost? 8? Last time I looked, they had lost 8. I think it's probably up to 9 or 10 now.
They've lost 11 total, but I don't know how many of those are in overtime.
Yeah. It's insane. It's literally, they're so good.
They've lost like 5 games at home all year.
And it's not like they made huge trades to make themselves this good. This is a team, a franchise that built this from scratch. They built this. This hasn't been a give them.
No, this is
like the people up north.
This is
Hey, we're giving it.
a team. This is a team that kept a core together by doing things the right way.
Yes. Even through a lot of bad times, they kept that core together and they made it work.
Bad times.
You know what I mean? They weren't winning cups.
No, but they still were.
When's the last time they won a cup?
2011.
Thank you.
But saying that they're like, okay, let's go back here. Sorry, I'm scrolling through a bunch of stats right now.
They haven't been the New York Rangers or the Edmonton Oilers where you don't remember this. You weren't around. Go back and check the records. I mean, they
in the
strung
60s and 70s,
80s where they strung a bunch of teams together,
that's never
together.
gonna happen again.
I know.
Gary Bettman made it this way so you'll never see that again. Tampa Bay is the closest we'll ever see. 2 in 3 years.
No, I'm not frozen. I'm staring at him.
I know you are. But
see, that's what I mean. You got to watch this show because if you're just listening to after the fact, you're missing all this fun stuff.
So let's go back before 2011. 2007, 2008, they lost in the conference quarterfinals, lost in the conference semifinals, lost in the conference semifinals, won a Stanley Cup, lost in the conference quarterfinals, lost the Stanley Cup final, lost in the second round, missed for 2 years, kept that team together.
That's what I mean.
Swapped coaches partway through the year in 16-17 and lost in the first round, lost in the second round, lost the Stanley Cup final, lost in the second round, lost in the second round, lost in the first round, and now we're putting on a
clinic
breaking season.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like literally people in hockey should be looking at what they have done over the last decade or two and mimic it because they've got it right. Don't shake your head no.
I'm shaking my head no for a very specific reason. They're doing what the Canucks did. They are. Early 2000s Canucks made the playoffs. We were competitive. We had an atmosphere of players taking huge pay cuts.
True.
To stay to stay together. And it's not like we haven't heard BX talk about it on Hockey Night in Canada where the Sedins literally held people together and said, no, you can't make that much. Why? Because we're making this much and we want to win a cup.
Yes. And we have to make more than everybody else. That's our contract. Wasn't that part of their contract? I
don't think that was part of their contract. I think it was just an unwritten rule.
Okay. Yeah.
They are your best players. They're making the most money.
Yeah.
Roberto Luongo aside.
Yeah.
Like,
because he's Luongo.
It's phenomenal. They did what we did.
Yeah.
And have extended it longer and won a Stanley Cup.
Exactly. It's amazing.
But let's transition here because
moving on. Speaking of royalty and winning cups and Hall of Fame.
Hey, look at that. How did we get there?
Wow.
The CFL Hall of Fame class was announced for 2023 today. Some key names: Solomon Aluminium, easy for people to say.
I'm glad you had to say it because I would have said aluminum.
Some guy named Larry Crawford and defensive line coach John Bowman. I'm just screwing with you with the Larry Crawford because I knew I'd get that reaction.
Also, that was just the Lions. There was five people inducted to the Hall of Fame, including Lloyd Fairbanks and Josh Bork. He was an offensive lineman. Building category had the former coaching great Jacques Dussault and the 8th commissioner of the CFL, Larry Smith. What's missing that I'm there is Schultze. Is also sorry?
In the media wing.
In the media wing, Dave Schultz will be posthumously put into the Hall of Fame because, of course, he passed from a heart attack a couple years back.
Chris Schultz, just to be
Thank you.
correct.
But I said
Chris
Dave
Schultz.
Schultz.
You said it, and I knew it wasn't right.
I knew it wasn't right when I said it. That was weird.
Yes, he's been inducted. It was 2021. It was during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was
March 4th, 2021. He had a heart attack and died, unfortunately.
And Mr. Solomon, as his friends call him, Sol.
Yep. Of course, you and him are first name basis, I can tell.
Well, I'm wearing my BC Lions cap. I had to straighten it. It was kind of crooked there. Probably, I would say one of the greatest to ever play his position.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Yes. The only downside is in what year was it? 2012?
Yeah.
He was overshadowed by was it 2012? I can't remember what year it was. Overshadowed by Cameron Wake.
Yes.
Otherwise he would have started every single year when he wasn't out chasing his NFL dream.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just looking. They don't really go into it on the CFL site. I was on the CFL site. BC Lions have obviously more information about Solomon and his that guy named Larry Crawford. You know, he's just the Lions' all-time leader in interceptions and punt return yards.
Yeah.
He joined the team in 1981, Jake. Yes.
I was -12.
Recorded 8 interceptions on his rookie year.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it is really impressive.
That's not even that's legit.
Yeah. Solomon suited up for 130. No, is that? No, it's still Crawford. Sorry, they talk about Crawford a lot. I wanted to check this before I said it. He is aluminum, as I call him because I can't say his name, is the club's all-time tackles leader with 745 on defense, 36 on special teams. Probably, and I agree with Jake, probably aside from Cameron Wake.
Who we only got... Again, I think that's a story we should go into for people who know Cameron Wake from Miami about his one season in the CFL, because I don't think it's known about quite as well as it should be. But
he was so dominant. He was so dominant. I mean, he was
he's a starter in the NFL that we got lucky enough because his agent screwed up not once but twice. And
he told him his agent told him to go to X spot for
We're getting sidetracked. This is a whole nother episode time.
Fine.
This is a summer episode before the preseason CFL starts.
Cool. Anyways, it's great to see those three get in, especially Crawford and Solomon, just because I remember them and they were so dominant in their positions.
It feels so weird to me that someone like Sully, who I remember watching vividly, is now in the Hall of Fame. Because in the NHL, it feels like there's a lot longer of a wait period.
Except for certain players, you're right.
From my watching days, Sedins and Luongo. Those are only 3 players that are in the Hall of Fame from that Canucks team.
Yeah, and I mean, I go to Wayne Gretzky. He was put in the first year he was out of the league.
You have to be special players.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to one day in a future episode is to go into depth on how the CFL chooses their Hall of Fames, because it's interesting. So we'll do that one. We'll do that another time.
Maybe we can invite a guest on who has a bunch of knowledge on this.
Yeah. I think that might be an idea.
John Bowman didn't ever play for the BC Lions.
No.
Just started coaching with them last year, I believe. Yeah, last year. 2022 as the defensive line coach.
Yeah.
2-time Grey Cup champion, 2-time All-Star.
134
I remember him from his
sacks.
Montreal Alouettes day, just a beast.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hate to play against someone like that, man. When they hit you,
And
you feel it. You'd still be feeling it.
And I've seen interviews with a lot of those guys afterwards, and I've met a handful of them throughout the years. Nicest guys off the field. But on the field, they're probably the meanest SOBs you've ever met.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember Jake and I would go to games here in Calgary, and then at the end of the game, we would go around the stadium and off to the side of the stadium, to the side door where the Lions would come out, and we'd wait and get their signatures. It was something we did almost every single game. We had these, we still have them, ponchos. Mine's in my bedroom hanging up. And I think we probably have signatures for 3 or 4 years of different Lions on this. And there was this, I'm trying to remember his name. We held his Grey Cup ring.
Hunt.
I'm not, when I'm telling you that.
No, it was Sully. It was Sully.
It was Sully.
Yes, it was Sully.
Yes. He handed me his Grey Cup ring. If I put it on my thumb, even now being 245 pounds, no, I'm down to 233. It would be too big.
Yeah.
His hand was like 3 times the size of my hand.
They would come out and they were great. Like, I mean, that was what, 20?
Oh, geez.
2010?
Yeah, sure.
So I was 16, 17.
And even
they
younger.
Were great. But this exact instance, they would come in, they would sign things, they would talk with us.
Oh, it was amazing.
Honestly, the nicest people they were just there being like, hey, people want our signatures. That's cool. And that was the atmosphere. And
this is why we love the CFL.
I was just going to get into that. I wish they had more events like that. They had more things that you could go to and meet a player.
Or just have the players available after the game. Yeah, I know it's tough. A lot of them. I mean, what amazed me is how many of them came out wearing ice packs. Yeah. Wrapped around their knee, wrapped on their shoulder, wrist, elbows. And every joint you can think of, these people had ice pack. It wasn't just one or like one time. Literally every game, you would see 5 or more players with ice packs on them.
And that's and to them, that's just their regular routine, right?
Regular routine. I think back when we went to Regina, with my buddy Trent to watch a Riders game, and again, it was just one of those coincidences.
I think it was beyond that. So because you were up ahead,
I was in front. Yes,
you and Trent were up front talking because I think you were still smoking back in those days.
Yes, I was.
So you and him wanted to go have a smoke.
Yes.
So you had to leave the stadium to do that. So I was Caleb was born, so I was at least 12, so maybe 14, 15.
Yeah, probably.
And we walked by and John Olafoyoye, love that name. I'm pretty sure that's who it was standing out front because he's from Saskatchewan. So he had family there and he was meeting them and I walked by in my Lions jersey and he was like, hey. I was like, oh, hey. And so he stopped. We took a picture with him. And as we were leaving, Dave Dickinson walked by. Dave Dickinson was the quarterback at the time. And my mom, without missing a beat, went, hey, Dave. And Dave turned around because you don't call, to me, it's Mr. Dickinson, can I bug you for a second? She's like, hey, Dave. Like the long lost friends. And he turns around expecting to know her.
Yes.
And he goes, hi.
and they start talking.
Yeah, they start talking and throughout
then G-Roy came out.
I think every single member of the locker room came out because that's where their bus was.
We were throwing footballs around with them.
Yeah. And I don't know why they didn't get in shit for leaving. I know we
must have delayed them by an hour. It was a long time we were there. It wasn't just a few minutes.
It was us, me, you, my mom, the group you're with, Angie,
Caleb,
Curtis, and Michael.
Yeah, and a bunch of other people.
There wasn't that many other people.
Wasn't there?
No, because we won the game, so we delayed on leaving.
That's right, because Trent was worried that I might get punched.
I wonder why that
I
would be.
might have got my whole section cheering for the Lions without them
They
knowing.
didn't. It's not their fault. It's English language is hard for people in Saskatchewan. Schools are very far away.
We love our rider friends.
We do. They're just, easy to make fun of.
Anyway, but that's what the league needs more of. You don't see that. You don't hear stories like that. You will never hear that story down in the NFL. That just doesn't happen.
No,
right? These guys are making $80 million. They don't want anything to do with Jake and I. Come on.
No.
These guys, G-Roy Simon.
I remember standing there.
G-Roy Simon literally stood there and watched me do the G-Roy dance.
Yeah, we don't need to do the G-Roy dance. But
that was your mom's dance. It wasn't my dance. I was just showing them.
Yes, it's still a dance no one needs to see on this podcast. But I was playing football at the time.
Yes.
And being able to talk with Dave Dickinson about things and G-Roy Simon, and I wanted to be a receiver. I wore 81 because of G-Roy, and I wore 82 because of Jason Claremont. Like, those were the two people that I grew up loving in the receiving corps. Being able to talk with them and throw the football with them as a 15-year-old,
just amazing,
14-year-old, you don't get that anywhere. You don't get that in the NFL. You don't get that in the USFL, the XFL, where these guys are trying to be celebrities. I'm sorry, you don't. You don't get it with Bo Levi Mitchell. You don't get it with these prima donnas.
See, I've had the opportunity to meet Bo away from football.
Yep.
I'm trying to be nice, but I don't want to be. I told you when we started, I was grumpy.
You're grumpy?
He's a dick. He really is.
He is what
I was at a charity poker game that I paid for. Literally, it was a a Calgary Stampeders charity poker game. It was $300 buy-in, and it was fun. I met Charlie Power, great guy, like super guy. It ended up he actually came over to say hi to me because we know his brother-in-law. Great guy, super guy. Met a couple the players, great guys. Even their kicker,
Rene Paredes.
He's a great guy.
I mean, apparently, rumors are he may or may not drink banana liqueur. If I'm not, all right, just
it might be. I've heard that rumor.
I definitely.
Well, other people are doing shots of Jack Daniels. He might have done shots of. That wasn't that. We're mixing up two stories, Jake.
That's fine.
That was at the Flames charity.
Yes, I know that, but he still
it was an open bar.
Banana liqueur.
But all the players I met were really friendly. Even the guy who became our coach.
What was his name? Give me one second. Yep.
Claremont. No.
Nope. Claremont's a receiver. Give me 1 second. Talk about him while I look this up.
Super. Like, I literally sat at his table playing poker, and I always at that time I had my Grey Cup ring, or a fan ring. It wasn't a Grey Cup ring. It was a fan ring, BC Lions fan ring, and I wore it intentionally that day because it was the Calgary Stampeders, and he saw it. He punched me in the jaw, playfully. I'm not kidding. When he punched me, his fist covered my whole entire face.
Devon Claybrooks.
Brooks, yes. A super nice guy. Dickinson walked by. He calls him over and tries to introduce him to our table because we're all fans. Actually, it was one of the 3 Down Nation guys were at the guy that was on
I don't
Big
know.
Brother.
I'm terrible with their names.
Big Brother, redhead guy. He was there too. Anyway, he comes over, he goes, "Hey," and walks away. I was like, I swear he probably will never admit he did this, but he looked at me and went, "What a dick."
He is, when you have a generic high school quarterback who thinks he's too big for his school, That's who he is.
That's who he is. I'm laughing
Like,
because
you know exactly who I'm thinking of.
Yes.
I love you, Tim.
Love you, Tim.
But that's who he is. Like, that's who it feels like he thinks he's bigger than the CFL, and that when he leaves and decides to go onto the sunset and whatever the fuck he wants to do afterwards.
No, he's going to try to become a coach.
I think he's going to become a broadcaster.
Or that could be a fair guess as well.
It feels like he thinks everything will be fine. Nothing like the CFL will never be the same again.
There's no doubt about it. He's a great quarterback.
One of the best we've seen in.
But when you call your receivers out in the press, the way he did after the Grey Cup that year, he lost every little bit of respect I had. Then, a few years back, there was talk about bringing the 4-down football into the CFL, and he was the only player to say, yeah, that would be a good idea. I literally yell at him. I'm sitting 5 rows back from the bench. I yell at him, calling him 4-down Bo. Go away. I don't like him.
I've
Levi, shut your... No, I can't do that.
We've watched a lot of football at McMahon. On the Calgary side,
since we moved here.
On the away side, it doesn't matter which side.
Yeah.
We watch the bench a lot because we're fans and we like to see that interaction. Yes. Especially during the commercials when they're doing the dog races and the cheerleading and everything.
All this stuff that we don't care about because we're
we don't care about. Watch the bench. You know what I didn't see Dave Dickinson ever do? Or Casey Printers or Travis Lulay or Henry Burris.
The greats.
They never threw a tantrum and stood away from the team.
Thank you.
You know how many times I saw him do that? And I went to a fraction of the games you went to while he was here in Calgary.
Constant.
It's
big baby. He's a big baby, Jake.
So
there's a story we need to tell during the CFL
another one.
Season.
We
have a lot of stories, people. We have a lot of stories. Jake and I get into more situations.
I don't think we got ourselves into that situation.
Why does it always happen to us, though? Tackling garbage
because your family is crazy.
That's not fair. He's not crazy.
Yes,
we had him tested.
That's a story for another episode.
There we go.
Right now, as we are wrapping up, I literally just turned it on my computer. The Canucks are getting ready to drop the puck against tank rivals, the Arizona Coyotes.
Jake, we're not tanking. Stop. We're going to win out.
Okay.
They're 25 and 32. We're 29 and 32.
Yeah, so we're even.
Well, basically, I mean, they're 29, 32. They're 25, 32, and 11. We're 29, 32, and 5. Think about this for a second. If someone told you back in January, I was going to say December, but I'll say January, that the Canucks were going to be at 500 before the end of the season, would you have laughed at them?
Probably, but that's because I'm a pessimistic and I keep forgetting that the way the NHL is set up is that every team should be at 500.
I'm going to make a prediction.
First off, before you... 1 second. Before you make your prediction, hold on to it. Hold on to it. I just want to get through this kind of like setup of the Canucks Arizona because the puck's dropping like in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So if you are watching us live, please do continue watching us and then go turn on the game. You're not going to miss much in the first 1 minute, 2 minutes. The Coyotes are 5-3-2 in their last 10. We're 7-2-1. Both teams are killing it when it comes to goals of 3.4 goals each per game. This game could be very high energy, high tempo, lots of goals. And God, I hope we lose. Because if we lose, we'll go from if we lose, we'll go from a 5% shot at Connor Bedard to a 6.5% chance of Connor.
Hey, speaking of that, I went on that site that you had
Tankathon
sent me. You just sent me a screenshot, but I found the site.
I'm proud of you for figuring that out.
And I was pushing it like you could do it over and over.
Yeah.
For the first 5 times in a row,
Yep.
It came up with the Canucks.
Well, we've already announced, if you are following us on Facebook, which if you're not, why aren't you? We are doing a live show.
Yes. May 8th.
May 8th, which is
a Monday.
Monday.
5 o'clock. It would be 5 o'clock our time. So you might have to
4...
leave.
No, why would you need to leave work? You can literally enjoy it. You work till 4:30. Toss us on in your ears on YouTube.
No, I was talking
Facebook.
about you. Dude, I was talking about you.
No, it's 5 o'clock. I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I want to be live. And I want people to see our natural reaction, good or bad, when they announce where the Canucks are going to pick. I'm telling you right now, people, if you don't watch any episode of this show, if you only want to watch.
If you only watch one episode.
That's the key word.
This is the episode.
One episode. I guarantee you, if Gary Bettman says these words, and the very first pick of the 2023 draft goes to the Vancouver Canucks, I am telling you without a shadow of a doubt, you are going to see two grown men, one old man, one younger, still grown men, freak the fudge out.
So the nice thing is that, like, if everything was to hold right now, have everything go through, and because they'll do the top 16, right? They'll go through 16 going backwards to 1. We'll see Nashville, we'll see Montreal, we'll see Calgary, Buffalo, Washington, Detroit, Arizona. And then if we don't see Vancouver, that's when we start to get excited. Yeah. That's where I can see it. You're already getting amped up about it.
It's just, I got a feeling in my tippy toes.
It's going to be interesting. That's for sure. Okay. What is your prediction? And then we will wrap up.
My expert, well thought out, take it to the bank prediction on tonight's game.
Yep.
The Canucks will go 6-0 because they will win tonight. That is...
Well, they're not 6-0. Let's
take it to the bank. Yeah, because they've won 5 straight.
Well, yeah, so they'd be 6 straight. They've lost a bunch of games this year. They're not 6-0. They're not a perfect record.
But in the last 6 games, they would be 6-0.
They're on a 6. They would have a 6-game win streak. Do not call it 6-0.
Man, it's a good thing we're not in the same room because you would have more bruises on your arm. You would have more bruises on your arm. Where's my ring?
Small. It looks the Mullet Arena looks so small, and it's so sad.
Oh, I haven't watched a game from Mullet Arena in a long time. I don't think I ever have, actually.
This is the first time the Canucks have been there,
so yeah, I probably haven't then.
As Thatcher Demko inhales a few more sniffs of his smelling salt packets, we will wrap up.
Because I want to go watch the game.
If you guys do love what we do here, because I know I do, please hit that like button, subscribe, tell your friends, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have an Instagram account. I haven't really done much with it, but we have an Instagram account now.
We have a TikTok account?
Follow me at Common Courtesy. The E is a 3 on Twitter and Instagram and on Twitch, where I stream there twice a week. Oh man, where can they find you?
Kevin Hughes on Facebook. And I think it's Kev_Hughes64 on Twitter, something like that.
That's the one.
And yeah, that's it. I have other accounts because I do other stuff, obviously, as people probably can see on my wall behind me here. There's plaques that say channeling. That's a whole different thing I do. But if you want, check out Cavelli Channeling.
I thought that was Facebook. Just like a really cool cross. I know you were raised religious.
That's what it is. I did it for Grandma. Yeah. She likes me.
I'm sure she does. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Again, tell your friends. Check us out at social medias, as well as check out our site. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.
And pay attention, because big news is coming. This weekend is going to be amazing for HSP. I'm telling you, tune in next week, because we got some big frickin' news coming up.